is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Stanton drives it, center field deep. Back goes Caesar. Gone! 50! Vaporized to center. Miami takes the lead. And Giancarlo just keeps on crushing.
And tonight, Giancarlo and the Fish take that show on the road in D.C. for 3. This opens it against the first place Washington Nationals. And what a show it has been. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Giancarlo Stanton and the Marlins are on the rise. The Fish 3 over 500, 4.5 from the wild card, 50 home runs for Stanton. A lot of things moving in a very fast fashion right now.
Well, it's so good to see Stanton loving it. You're absolutely right. They're excited. They're playing well together. I think here's the biggest thing. I want to point this out right now. Stanton said after the ball game, one of the biggest home runs of his career. I love it, not in the fact that it was 50, but he was actually talking about the atmosphere at Marlins Park. He was talking about his team playing well and being back in the wild card conversation. Great stuff, great achievement to get to 50, but I think he's happier being this great hitter. You see that 394 up there? That's what's making him smile.
Back in Washington where he hits well, however, it's a real test for Stanton and the rest of the Fish. Look who's off the DL, Max Scherzer, and it's Scherzer who gets the ball for the Nationals.
Well, not a whole lot stacks up well for the Marlins or anybody else in the National League, mind you. I mean, he's been that good, that dominant. I think most people will pick him as the National League Cy Young frontrunner right now, but here's the deal. He missed a start. He's coming back. We don't know what his neck's going to look like, so good numbers against the Marlins, but maybe there's an opportunity to jump on him early if, in fact, his command is a little off early in this game.
And here's the deal on Jose Urena. He's a bit of a mystery to this Nationals team.
Yeah, he's pitched very well this season. Again, 8-0 on the road. That's right, has not lost on the road this year. He's become somewhat of the, well, I'll call him the Marlins ace right now. He's got outstanding numbers, good stuff going for him. This is a classic matchup and certainly one I'm looking forward to.
Marlins are trying to chase down the wild card. Stanton continues to chase records with every swing. And guess what, kids? Giancarlo coming up in the first against Max Scherzer as the Marlins and the Nationals open up a 3-gamer in D.C. Washington, D.C., Max Scherzer, D. Gordon ready to go. First of 3. And here we go. Gordon bunting, brings it with him. First base side. Scherzer can't get it, and Gordon is safe across first base. And that sets up Stanton's at bat. D's aboard with a base hit.
Yeah, good to see the bunt right out of the gate. Remember yesterday's ball game, this got the Marlins offense rolling. D. Gordon with 2 outs had a beautiful bunt, certainly set up Stanton. Came up and had a big base hit. And Marlins are in business once again. Really nice bunt. Do or die play for Scherzer.
So here's Stanton now. Giancarlo has a couple of home runs against Scherzer. Southwest lineup: Gordon, Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna, Realmuto, Dietrich, Talise, Rojas, and Urena. And D. Gordon back with a dive, and it's the unique dynamic. Gordon at first, a base stealer. Stanton at the plate, the most feared slugger in all of baseball. Scherzer a fastball up and in.
Right at it against Scherzer. Big day for Stanton yesterday. 3 for 3 in the ball game.
Gordon not a big lead. And Scherzer gets a strike. How do you expect Scherzer will approach Stanton? I don't think Giancarlo was on the same page as Jim Wolf there, but it was a good pitch right on the corner.
I do not believe under any circumstances Scherzer's going to back down to anybody in this lineup or, well, anywhere in baseball. This is who he is. He's going to go right at Stanton all night long.
Infield shifted towards third. Stan hits a chopper down the third baseline. Rendon, high throw there, relay there in time. And the Nationals turn 2. Daniel Murphy with Gordon right on top of him. Turns the double play.
Well, this is an impressive turn. Ball down the line. High chopper. Rendon on his heels makes a strong throw to second base. You see how quickly they're able to get that ball around the diamond. Bit surprised, but impressive regardless. Nicely done by the Nats.
Here's your defense for the Nationals.
Nats defense looks like this. Kendrick gets the start in left field. Taylor and Worth is your outfield. Worth back now for the Nationals. Rendon, Defoe, Murphy, Zimmerman. Wieters behind the plate for Scherzer, who's back off the DL.
Christian Yelich now. And Yelich takes a fastball in from Scherzer. Marlins just saw Scherzer on August 7th. He pitched well, 7 innings, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts. And Yelich has had success against him. In fact, just about everybody in the Marlins lineup who's a regular, except JT Realmuto, has homered against this guy. And part of that can be attributed to what you pointed out. Scherzer doesn't back down from anybody.
Yeah, he's going to go right at Marlins today. You ask what's the formula for his success this season. He's been using his secondary pitches particularly well. Not great numbers for the hitters off the 4-seam fastball, the 2-seam fastball, but his slider, curveball, and changeup have been outstanding. Some of the best numbers of his career. Here's a good look at his changeup. Now watch the late action. You see Christian Yelich fooled by the lack of velocity, 86 miles an hour and downward action into the zone.
And he got him, 96. So Scherzer gets the double play on Stanton, strikes out Yelich. This ball game underway and scoreless. It takes aim at the Nationals, who split a doubleheader and split a 4-game series with the Mets. Howie Kendrick, who has hurt the Marlins this year. Southwest brings you the Nationals. Michael Taylor, Daniel Murphy, Ryan Zimmerman's back from that shoulder injury. Anthony Rendon's at third. Matt Wieters behind the plate. And Jason Worth is off the DL for this ball game. Wilmer Defoe is at short. Scherzer, who homered against the Marlins, is in the 9 spot. Urena zips in a strike. Jim Wolf calling balls and strikes. Greg Gibson, Sam Holbrook, DJ Rayburn. They're the numbers for Urena.
Yeah, making his 22nd start of the season. Leads this team in wins. Got 12 of them. He's had a very nice August. 3-0, 2.95 ERA. Last start came against the Philadelphia Phillies. 3 earned runs. Did give up a couple home runs. 5 Ks, 5 innings pitched. 3 earned runs or less his last 5 starts. And that 2-seam fastball has been really good lately. You got a good look at it right there. Battled all first half of this season really with his 4-seam fastball. Of course, he's got the very good slider and changeup as those pitches have developed well. But the 2-seam fastball, very erratic in the first half, had to lean on that 4-seamer. Now the 2-seamer seems to be coming around.
And I noted that the Nationals haven't seen a lot of him. He's only made 1 career start against them, and it was a great one. An earned run, 8 innings, but he got the loss. It was a 1-0 Nationals win. A swing and a miss, and down goes Kendrick.
Yeah, it's a good slider right there. That was the game against Gio, the no-hitter game, where he almost had the no-hitter against the Fish. Look at this slider. Well done. Set up. JT Realmuto gives him a great target on the outside corner. Got a hot hitter in Kendrick. Start
Defense
this ball game
behind Urena.
All right, here it is. Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton. I've said that all season long. Dietrich, Rojas, Gordon, and Talese. He gets the start over at first base. JT Realmuto behind the plate for Jose Urena tonight.
I hardly recognize anyone without their nicknames. Right?
My life has just gotten so simple here today. I love, listen, the Padres, great young team. They've got some of the tougher names. I got to tell you what, up and down the lineup, and then their nicknames only complicated it a little bit for me. I know I'm in my rookie season, but that was my biggest test.
Well, you handled it well.
Well, thank you.
Michael Taylor, patrolling center fields. Taylor has spent some time on the disabled list, and it seems like almost every National has had a spell on the DL this year. They get Worth back here tonight. Trey Turner is close to coming back at short. Remember, Adam Eaton was originally in center field. Eaton's been on the disabled list since late April with a knee injury.
Taylor missed time with an oblique strain, missed 29 games. He's 4 for 14 on the homestand, so swinging the bat a little bit better.
And of course, the biggest loss right now is Bryce Harper with that bruised knee, which actually, in an odd way, was good news for the Nationals, because they thought that knee injury when he slipped on the base on that wet night was much more severe. They expect Harper back in September. Swing and a miss, and Taylor goes down, and Jose Urena has punched out the first 2 he's faced here tonight.
Well, that 2-seam fastball, great action. Watch how it sinks. Look at that, darting down in the zone at 96 miles an hour. That is a tough pitch to hit. He looks like he is up to task tonight. It's a big start going up against Scherzer.
Daniel Murphy now. Murphy having another outstanding season, an all-star season. Murphy's been steady and healthy. See the OPS at 920. Murphy always a guy that used to hit between 280 and 290, and in the last couple of seasons he's shot up about 30 points.
320 and 350, right? Murphy's having another outstanding season. Second in the National League in doubles, 37, 4th in batting average at 318. He's about ready to, and I think this is the one thing that he would probably tell you he's most proud of. He's about ready to eclipse his career high in RBIs. His career high is 85. He's at 81 right now. He's the best hitter with runners in scoring position in baseball.
Yeah, he's only hitting 408 when there's runners out there in scoring position.
Right.
And it's in. So Murphy walks. Let's take it. That's not only a strike. That's a right down the middle strike.
The ball is entirely inside the strike zone. There is not 1 inch of the baseball outside the zone. I'm not really sure how to. Just a missed call. Leave it alone.
Well, the Nationals had a scare the other day when Ryan Zimmerman, after a slide in home, a head-first slide, told his manager his shoulder was hurt. And after a few days, he's back in the lineup. Such a big part of the Nationals' 78-51 record for the first half that he had.
A little different in the second half. You're right. Still big with Harper out of there. People around the Nats know how important Zimmerman's bat is to this team. 1 for 4 yesterday as he got back into play. He is in the middle of a 2 for 24 though. Struggling a little bit of late.
And folks around here who, and just about everybody in baseball, assumes the Nationals going to win this division, head to the postseason. A lot of them eyeballing both the Dodgers and the Cubs. In all likelihood, it's the Cubs who will be that first round opponent, especially if the Cubs win that division. Dodgers don't seem to be fading at all. Dusty Baker. There goes Murphy. Good jump. Real Muto's throw is offline. And Uranga did not hold Murphy at all. It was his second stolen base of the season.
Murphy does not run nearly as much as he used to in his career, but an opportunity, as you said, to grab that stolen base. 2 strikes on Zimmerman. He anticipated an off-speed pitch. It was, in fact, a fastball out of the strike zone. Not the easiest pitch for JT to throw on, but considering the jump Murphy got.
He's in scoring position. Counts 2-2.
.298 with runners in scoring position.
That one skips by Real Muto, and Murphy arrives at third base. Crowd still arriving. A Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoon finale in this series.
See for JT Real Muto, really no shot. That ball way outside. Velocity that was on it. Chance of getting in front.
So a walk, a stolen base, a wild pitch. And that one was in the same neighborhood. Uranga yanked it. Real Muto was able to get a glove on this one. And that brings up Anthony Rendon.
Well, after back-to-back strikeouts, back-to-back walks. Nationals one of the most dangerous teams in baseball with runners in scoring position. RBI guys, we'll call him, up and down the lineup, including this guy, Anthony Rendon. He's had a fantastic season, .355 with runners in scoring position. Yeah, you see there, this is 2 outs and runners in scoring position, one of the best in baseball.
Always amazed to see the National League average is .241. And Rendon takes a strike.
Career high 22 home runs for Rendon.
Rendon bounced back here last year. He swings and misses. It's 0-2.
Rendon starting to crank it up. Up to a slow start in August, hitting .314 since the Harper injury.
Well, he's always been a great hitter ever since he came out of Rice University. He's a Houston native, so obviously these last few days have had to be tough. That's a smash into left field for a base hit. And the Nationals have the lead right out of the gates.
Ureña's command, very, very good, really all season long. This 0-2 pitch catches way too much of the plate. See it thigh high. Two-seam action did not get down in the zone. In fact, stayed up. Rendon choking up, shortening up, drives it through the left side, and the Nats have an early 1-0 lead.
2 strikeouts, 2 walks, the stolen base and the wild pitch. And now the first hit for the Nationals, and this is Matt Wieters, the big switch hitting catcher, the former Baltimore Oriole. He's had some significant hits in the season, but his overall season numbers somewhat disappointing. That one's going to find the seats.
4-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner, 2 for 11 on the homestand.
Well, the Nationals lineup will get some speed near the top of it back when Trey Turner is activated. Turner was taking batting practice today with the ball club. Speaking of batting practice, Justin Bour with the ball club took batting practice, regular batting practice. There were no limits on him. Went out and ran the bases as well.
It was a very spirited batting practice. Very good swings, free and easy.
Wieters knocks that one into the seats. The Nationals did not take a full batting practice. There was a smattering of guys that came out for optional BP. But they played 2 games yesterday against the Mets, including the late game, the late Sunday night game. Dusty Baker's ball club has played a lot of doubleheaders, 3 doubleheaders in the last 5 weeks of the season. This is year number 2 for Baker. Dusty Baker's been to the postseason a lot. 22 years, he's been there 9 times, including last year with this ball club. Little tapper back to Ureña, and he gets the out at first. Command issues and a run for the Nationals. Let's scout Max Scherzer.
Yeah, the 6'3", 220-pound, 33-year-old, two-time Cy Young Award winner. He's back. Yep, Scherzer back off the disabled list today. Start number 25. Many believe he may get the third Cy Young Award of his career. 2.25 ERA, 160 innings, 220 strikeouts. All right, third time's the charm. Remember, he's faced the Marlins. Now, he did have that one start August 1st, came out after swelling or pain in his neck. He's made 2 full starts, and I anticipate a third one today. But he's owned the Marlins. 1.13 ERA, 20 strikeouts, and 15 innings. And, well, really one or the other. To me, it comes down to this. You have to eliminate either his secondary pitches.
Knocked into center field. Ozuna's got a base hit.
That's a pretty good example of it right there. You either go up there looking to hit his 2-seam, 4-seam fastball combination, or pick a breaking pitch that you think you might get and go up there and sit on it. But you can't defend both, and that's just really what it comes down to. And for Scherzer, the numbers don't lie. Great numbers against the secondary pitches. Scherzer has against the entire league. 112 against his slider, 111 against his changeup, 162 against the curveball. Now, the 4-seam fastball, 235, and the 2-seamer, 231. So, as I tell you, Rich, I think you go up there, do your best to stay on the fastball and try not to chase that slider.
JT Realmuto with Ozuna at first. Now, JT has not had great success against Scherzer. To the season numbers, the OPS is just a bit under 800 on base and slugging. Realmuto 1 for 17 in his career against Max Scherzer. And you were running through his numbers, and just to put them in perspective, in strikeouts he's the best in the National League, 220. Jacob deGrom is 19 behind him. Second in ERA to Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw coming off the DL here momentarily. So you're right, that maybe a third Cy Young Award, 2013, and then last year as a national, 0-2.
A really good take on the slider. Now he's thrown, coming into tonight's ball game, 729 sliders. Get this, Rich. 198 swing and misses at that slider. So we were talking about D. Nelson Lamet the other day with the San Diego Padres. What a great slider he had in that good combination with the fastball. Scherzer's even better. The swinging strike rate at the slider, 27.2%.
Realmuto out into center. Taylor is there, and he makes the catch. And that'll bring up Derek Dietrich. Well, the challenge for the Nationals as they head towards October is getting the band all back together and in one piece in terms of health. Scherzer on the DL a couple times with the neck. Dusty Baker is hopeful that Bryce Harper is back and better than ever with that bruised knee that he has. He'd love to keep Steven Strasburg healthy for a stretch. Marlins will see Strasburg, at least it's scheduled for Wednesday. It's an Adam Conley, Steven Strasburg matchup for Wednesday. And Wednesday's game again is a 4 o'clock start.
Putting that into baseball terminology, Rich, you play with a rhythm. When a team starts to play really good baseball, the team itself is in a good rhythm. It's either good pitching, good bullpen. Everybody kind of knows their slot. Like the Marlins are in great rhythm right now with how they're going about their business, how the offense is working, and even how the bullpen's been doing a very nice job of late. For the Nats, that is the challenge in September. Certainly Scherzer stands alone, right? Every time he takes the ball, most everybody expects him to be great. But it's also the rhythm, not only with your catchers, with your players, and then getting guys back. Get Bryce Harper back out there, get him in rhythm. The Marlins would love to get Justin Bour back and in rhythm.
So the Marlins have made up ground in the East, but a dozen games behind the Nationals as we creep towards September. Jim Wolf with a strike call. It's 1-1. Since August 11th, the Marlins winning 13 of 16, making up 6 games in the wild card race there, and the Nationals 4 games over. Hit him. You could hear it. eclipsed Dietrich. It actually was caught by Wieters. But Dietrich is aboard. Ozuna ends up at second base.
Attention all Fish family season ticket holders. Renewal season is upon us. We have so many exciting things planned for the 25th anniversary next year. You won't want to miss out on the celebration. Learn more at marlins.com/renewals.
Tomas Talis in the start at first base. Has some experience against Scherzer, 2 for 6. And one of those 2 is a home run. Marlins tried to answer the Nationals' run in the bottom of the first. And Scherzer yanks that one in. Yeah, I think a lot of people are enthusiastic, and it was very encouraging to see Justin Bour in normal batting practice today. Because not only for a guy like Trey Turner of the Nationals, but for Bour with Miami, the minor league season is a few days away from being over, so going out and playing rehab games is somewhat problematic. You can get to instructional league, but then you're really searching for the ability to simulate major league games and get guys ready.
Right. Well, in a lot of ways, good change it by Scherzer in a 2-0 count. You can't really depend on what's going on around you. You're absolutely right. Maybe you got some instructional league going on. You can find some at bats for him, but it very well may be just getting back out on the field for Justin Bour. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about anything. He means so much to this lineup, and I think it would be just such a psychological boost to get him back in uniform, back active on the active roster, and involved in some capacity.
Scherzer gets the corner.
Well, Scherzer's done a nice job doubling up the spots. He did it to Christian Yelich, another left-handed hitter in the first inning. Change-up, fastball, two-seamer to the same spot. Saw it right there. Scherzer getting back into the count with a changeup and a fastball away.
1 out. Ozuna at second. Dietrich the runner at first. Breaking ball, little comebacker. Scherzer out there. Defoe's turn is in time, and the Nationals have turned 2 double plays in the first 2 innings of this ballgame. Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass, by Vico Painting Contractors. Find out more at vicopainting.com. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Transparency. Loaf Bears, nothing to hide. National fans welcoming back Jason Worth. Long stay on the disabled list. He fouled a pitch off his foot and it never really healed. They tested it, MRI'd it, finally found a broken bone in there. Pulls that one foul down the third base line.
Cost him 75 games. It's off to a pretty decent start at the beginning of the year. 8 homers, 15 RBIs.
Worth shoots out to the right side. Gordon gobbles it up, gets to first. We check in with Jessica Blaylock. Good evening, Jess.
Hey, Rich. Jose Urena on the mound tonight for the Marlins. Since May 7th, he has been one of the most effective pitchers in Major League Baseball. Only Zach Davies has more wins with 13. But look at those other guys that have 12 wins alongside Urena since May 7th. How about that list? Zach Greinke, Chris Sale, Alex Wood, and Jacob deGrom. Guys, that puts Urena in elite company.
You're right, Jess, and in a season in which the Marlins have had such atrophy in their rotation, Urena is the bright light. To left, Ozuna on patrol in the corner. He makes the catch. Spring training, the Marlins weren't sure what to do with Urena. They knew that they wanted to protect him somehow. Had they sent him down to the minor leagues, it would have exposed him to waivers, and surely somebody would have claimed him. He pitched well enough at the end of spring training that Juan Nieves and Don Mattingly and Michael Hill decided let's keep him in the bullpen. Pitched well in the bullpen, and with all the injuries and ineffectiveness in the Marlins starting rotation through April and May, Urena suddenly found himself in the rotation, and he's been pitching well ever since.
Well, it's never really been a conversation about his stuff. He was just bringing it all together, and this has been the season where it has all come together. Slider and the changeup, certainly great secondary pitches. That two-seam fastball has been developing all season long.
Scherzer takes down low, and Urena has gone 3-0. Max Scherzer has one career homer, and yet came against the Marlins in a bunt situation in which he squared, pulled back, and popped one out of Marlins Park. You want proof?
Cut fastball from O'Grady.
Rojas has the ground ball, and a throw to first in time. 1-2-3 second for Urena. 1-0 Nats.
copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
In Washington, D.C., very short road trip. The Marlins are here for 3 tonight, tomorrow night, and 4 o'clock on Wednesday before the Fish are back home, Marlins Park, on Thursday night against the Phillies.
I thought Giancarlo Stanton said it appropriately after yesterday's ball game. A lot has been accomplished, but there's a lot more that needs to be accomplished when it comes to this season. And the Marlins treat the rest of this season almost like every day is a playoff game in a weird sort of way.
Miguel Rojas takes a breaking ball. That starts his at bat here in the third. With Jose Urena and D. Gordon scheduled against Max Scherzer. Marlins have a couple hits against Scherzer, a bunt single by D. Gordon, and a line drive single to center by Marcell Ozuna. As well, Scherzer hit Derek Dietrich. One other number that just jumps off the page for Scherzer, his whip. Walks and hits per innings pitched, 0.85.
That just speaks to making good to the opportunities that you get in a ball game. And you think back to the first couple of innings, Scherzer turning a double play, Marlins hitting into another double play for the D. Gordon bunt, Stanton hitting into that double play. Got to take advantage of what base runners you get.
Busted bat, roller over the middle. Defoe on the run. He has played the heck out of shortstop. They haven't lost a whole lot when Turner went down because this guy's been outstanding. Stay tuned, 7th inning of this ball game. The Jeep Compass Game Break will bring you highlights and commentary from around the league. Greg Minervini standing by at the ready along with Jeff Nelson. We welcome Nelly back. And yeah, that whip is the best in baseball right now, 0.85. Urena takes outside. The others in that top 5, Clayton Kershaw 0.88, Corey Kluber, Chris Sale, Zach Greinke. Steven Strasburg checks in 6th. Marlins will face him on Wednesday. Vance Worley, Edwin Jackson, veteran right-handers. Jackson as veteran as anybody in the game, it seems, tomorrow night. And that's weather permitting, I might add, because the forecast tomorrow in D.C. is for rain most of the day.
Did you call Edwin Jackson a journeyman? Well, he's been just about everywhere in baseball. Been around a long time. The veteran has played for, I believe, what is it, 12 franchises now?
He's embodies that old Johnny Cash song, I've been everywhere.
Yes.
Man. 2-2. Breaking ball catches the corner. Down goes Urena. You know, I think one thing we found in this run by Giancarlo Stanton is that these 2-out at bats for D. Gordon hold a lot of value. You've got the pitcher, who obviously Scherzer's one of the, if not the best right now going, who's just got a couple outs, sailing through the inning. Gordon steps in, but if he loses Gordon, all of a sudden the whole inning seems to flip.
It's a very good point, and we certainly saw it in yesterday's ball game against the Padres. And in fact, you saw the dynamic actually played against the Marlins when Daniel Murphy stole second base. I mean, obviously you've got to pay attention to the runner at first base. He's still second base. You got a runner in scoring position. Now with 2 outs, it just changes the whole dynamic of everything that goes on in the way in a pitcher's mind. He knows he's 1 out away from getting out of the inning, but he's also now got either the runner at first, you've got the most lethal hitter in the game in the box, or you got a runner in scoring position at second base.
That's how it worked yesterday in the 3rd inning. D. Gordon with 2 outs got a bunt base hit against Clayton Richard. Stanton took an outside fastball and popped it into that right field corner on a line that knocked home Gordon with Miami's first run. Got him. Breaking ball. Came back across the plate. Scherzer's on tonight. 1-0. An inning can flip, and it happened to Jose Urena in the first inning.
Well, it's so interesting. Even that pitch right there was a strike. Doesn't get it. So Murphy's over at first base, steals second. Now he's in scoring position. Well, Urena all of a sudden loses control. Remember, he struck out the first two guys. That's an 0-2 pitch to Rendon.
All that happened with 2 outs.
Right. That's, in a lot of ways, the game of baseball can be described in how you deal with pressure. Can you apply it? Can you increase it? Can you decrease it?
Daniel Murphy usually beats you with his bat, not with his feet. Howie Kendrick, Michael Taylor, and Murphy, top of the order for the Washington Nationals, who many feel have that window to postseason play still open. Here's a 1-1, but you never know how long that window stays open. The Nationals last year had a 2-1 lead in the division series against the Dodgers, lost games 4 and 5. Check swing, that one fouled back. Clayton Kershaw actually came out of the Dodger bullpen to close game 5. That was the game started by Max Scherzer. Getting out of the division series has been the challenge for this team. Whole season in 12, they had St. Louis beaten, at least they thought, and the Cardinals had that wild comeback here in game 5. Giants beat them in the division series in 2014, and Urena walks the leadoff man, Howie Kendrick, here in the 3rd.
Slider command for Urena tonight has been a little sketchy at best. Try to use a couple sliders. Put away Kendrick. Kendrick not biting. He is a threat to go at first.
And Taylor has got speed as well. If he does set one down here, it might not be just to move Kendrick up. It might be to try to get himself a base hit. Dietrich shortens up at 3rd. Talise holding Kendrick. Outside corner, and the count's 1-1 strike. It's not a full schedule in baseball tonight, though there are some National League postseason and wild card competitors in action. In particular, Colorado is home against Detroit. Former National Jordan Zimmerman, who's having a miserable year, gets the start for the Tigers. Check swing. Did he go? Yes. It's Greg Gibson down at first. Counts 2-2. Two balls, two strikes. And Urania steps off. If you're just happening by, the Marlins and the Nationals opening this 3-game set. An early run. Washington on top. And that one rolls into left field off the bat of Michael Taylor, the Fort Lauderdale kid. And the Nationals first and second. Nobody out. And here come the big bats. Daniel Murphy is up right now.
Join us for the next free T-shirt Friday on September 1st. The Marlins take on the Phillies, and the first 7,000 fans will receive a free Marlins T-shirt courtesy of Citrix. Tickets at marlins.com/tickets.
Daniel Murphy. And Urania misses down low.
Well, that situation we talked about in the first. Of course, it wasn't a runner on second base. It's now upon us. Daniel Murphy, 408 with runners in scoring position. The best in the league.
Inside corner, Murphy goes back to quiz Jim Wolf. Count 2-1.
Urania trying to stay in tight on Murphy's hands. Certainly don't want to fall into too many patterns against one of the game's elite hitters. Two-seam fastball. He's had a lot more movement to that side of the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Daniel Murphy, now 32, Jacksonville native. Englewood High School and then the University of Jacksonville. Very nice 7-year run with the Mets. Urania steps off. Murphy, of course, had that great postseason in 2015, getting the Mets into the World Series. Center field, Yelich back on it. Now forward, tagging at second is Kendrick, on his way to third. And he's in there. Nice job by Urania to back up the throw.
That certainly cost him an additional base right there. Throw got away from Rojas. Christian Yelich does everything right. Hendry, a little bit of a slip there. You saw that front foot come out. Rojas let it go through, but that throw is not on line. He's got to cut that ball.
At the corners, 1 out. Zimmerman walked back in the first. Infield back for 2. Runner bluffs. And the pitch is in. Zimmerman mired in at 2 for 24. Taylor can run. He's got a dozen stolen bases. So Urania trying to keep him close.
Well, certainly. Just the threat of the stolen base, but obviously to keep the double play in order. Zimmerman a candidate to ground into a double play. Both base hits for the Nats have been right-handed hitters pulling balls through the right side on the ground.
Well, this has been a battle for Urania ever since the third hitter of the game. Remember, he struck out Kendrick and Taylor to open the first. Zimmerman going after the 2-0 pitch. It's a lot of pitches already.
They're starting to pile up. He has been very, very careful. Part of that is, Rich, you also know who's on the other side pitching for the Nats tonight. Scherzer. He's being very careful. Very careful. He has not challenged too many hitters. His misses have been off the corners, away, not been back towards the middle of the plate in any capacity.
Marlins have shuffled their rotation a bit. Justin Nicolino in the bullpen and is the long man tonight. One pulled foul. Vance Worley gets the start tomorrow. And it's Adam Conley who was slated to go on Wednesday.
Why not get Vanderbilt a start against the Nats? Well, outstanding back-to-back starts against the Nats. Just a few starts ago.
Runner goes. Zimmerman fouls it off. That's one thing about the Nationals. They've lost a lot of players to injuries, but the guys that have come up for Dusty Baker, whether it's Kendrick, whether it's Taylor, whether it's Defoe, they're having nice years.
Well, and they've reshaped even how the offense works. Those three that you even just mentioned possess speed. So it's a nice dynamic to have. Dusty Baker not afraid to use that speed. At times you watch this team, Bryce Harper's back. Yeah, sure, they hit for a lot of power. But right now, they've been trying to create runs in a different way by using their legs, taking the extra base, hitting well with runners in scoring position.
Probably on the move is Taylor at first. Realmuto out just to make sure everybody's on the same page on the infield. Kendrick's at third. Taylor's running. Good jump. Bouncer up the middle. Rojas looked at second. No chance there. Nationals get another run.
The responsibility for Zimmerman to put the ball in play. Ideally, either a long fly ball or a ball on the ground. Why? You've got Taylor on the move. So as long as you don't have a strikeout, you got the opportunity to score a run. Look at Rojas even thought about it. Taylor got a nice jump.
Of the 2 walks in the first inning, one of them scored, and the walk that opened the third has scored. Anthony Rendon drove in the first run with a single back in the first. Giancarlo Stanton will lead it off. Once this ball game gets to the 4th. We will keep an eye tonight on the Braves and the Phillies. just to see if the rookie Rhys Hoskins hits another home run. Giancarlo Stanton was named Player of the Week of the National League. We're not privy to the actual voting totals, but I assume it wasn't by a landslide. Hoskins and Stanton both had very similar weeks.
You and I had a somewhat spirited debate, even going back and forth. Fun conversation. Both guys playing at an incredibly high level all week long. And I have to admit, I'm surprised that it wasn't Coe.
Hoskins hit one more home run than Stanton, but Stanton did more damage in bigger moments, and I believe had more doubles. Three and two. It'll be fascinating to see if that youngster, obviously he can't keep this going, but is able to have a very productive September. Three-two to Rendon, and a spin with Taylor at second.
Very similar to the run Gary Sanchez went on, I believe it was last year, right? Felt like he was hitting a home run about every day. The Yankees.
Strike three, outside corner. Rendon turns around and goes in for a word. Nationals get another run, 2-0.
With the best, my career high, put us up, gave us a sweep. Pretty good things all around it.
Giancarlo Stanton talking about the importance of that home run in the thrilling win yesterday and the sweep of the San Diego Padres. Stanton's second at bat here, and a fastball from Scherzer is a strike. Giancarlo bounced into a 5-4-3 double play back in the first inning. This has been a good ballpark for him in his career. 52 career games and 19 home runs. And one against Scherzer last time he was here. Sharp breaking ball. Stanton swings and misses.
Time and time again, just Giancarlo Stanton, but many hitters here in the National League have fallen victim to this slider. Those are the number of swing and misses at the beginning. Even the idea or the game plan at the beginning of the ball game is to obviously eliminate this, but it's pitch recognition, and I think that's what separates Scherzer from so many others in the game today. He may sit fastball, but the ability to discern between the fastball and the slider is a lot harder to do. He hides the ball very well. Comes out from a unique arm angle, and a lot of times that slider surprises hitters.
Despite the 2 trips to the 10-day disabled list with both neck ailments, Scherzer's been incredibly durable and productive. 6 consecutive seasons with 200 or more strikeouts, and he's already blown past that. He's at 224 now with the 4 that he has in this ball game.
Christian Yelich 1 for 4 yesterday, had a triple, by definition a Little League home run. Scored on the play, errant throw. Last 9 games, 324, 9 runs, 8 RBIs, a couple of home runs, good stuff. 4 walks, been very productive behind Stanton.
Yelich gets a piece, and it pops out of Wieder's glove. I think in talking to hitters, talking to hitting coaches about Scherzer, the first thing out of their mouth is his breaking stuff. And I think people sometimes think he's just got that blazing fastball, and he's got good velocity. But it's that sharp slider that everybody is on alert for. Yelich takes a fastball, hits it to left field, hits it well. Kendrick back, looking up, and it's gone. And Christian Yelich goes opposite field. Miami's on the board, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, we have seen Christian Yelich display power the other way many times this season. He does it once again. Jumps all over a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That's a good pitch to pick on. Why? Well, 12 of the 19 home runs, now 13 of the 20 home runs that Scherzer has given up this year have been on the 4-seam fastball. Take another look. Well, elevated. So you have to be on time as a left-handed hitter. Obviously, keep it inside the foul pole. All those things lead to a run.
Ozuna, a scorcher, and that's fair. Into the corner it goes. It's going to roll around in that corner. Ozuna races to second. And Miami's hit 2 balls really hard here in the 4th. Ozuna's second hit of the ball game.
Now back-to-back pitches. First the 4-seam fastball, posited by Yelich. Now Ozuna, he preys on a slider. 84 miles an hour, rips it down the line.
JT Realmuto now. A fly ball out to center. It's hard connecting the dots with the Marlins right now in terms of road and home, because they were on a road trip before they came home for less than 72 hours to sweep the Padres, and now they're right back out here. Realmuto on the road portion of that swung the bat quite well. He did not have a great series against the Padres. He was 0 for 9. JT left field deep, but it curves foul. And it counts 0-2.
Yeah, JT knows right away. You see him spin back around that he pulled it foul. Certainly had home run distance. Yeah, the month of August has certainly been a little rough for JT Realmuto, but he has had big games. That's one thing that stands out this month. 3 or 4 different times, a couple of times in the Phillies series, one time in the Mets series. 3 RBIs in those ball games, a couple of home runs.
Drives that one to right center field. That's well hit. Taylor going after it. Worth is there, makes the catch. Ozuna tags and races for third and arrives there with 2 outs. And that gets Derek Dietrich to the plate with a chance to tie the game.
lot has been made. Great run Stanton's been making here in the second half. Continue to talk about top of this lineup. Well, it extends all the way down to Derek Dietrich. Get this, August, 296, 400, 506. That's his triple slash line. 906 OPS. So he's been busy in the 6-hole. A lot of damage. Certainly taking full advantage of his opportunities.
Did some damage yesterday with a solo homer in the 8th. Of course, Stanton's was the curtain call and a big one, but Dietrich added to it with a solo shot further down in the inning.
Yeah, his 8th. He's creeping up on his career high for RBIs in a season. That's 42. He sits at 39.
This was yesterday.
That's a tough pitch. That was a good 6 inches down in the zone. Good balance and extension from Dietrich. Maybe out on his front foot a little bit. See how strong he is, able to clear the wall in right field.
The 2-0 pitch from Scherzer. And a strike, and it's 2-1. And the numbers you talked about, what's been consistent for Dietrich in the last month is that slugging percentage. Whether it's home runs, whether it's doubles, even triples. Dietrich this year has got 5 triples. He's played well defensively. Sure, the Marlins miss Martin Prado, but Dietrich has been one of the hidden heroes for about a 5-week span.
No doubt about it, losing Justin Bour certainly was a blow to the length in this lineup, or I should say the production farther down. There's the big guy, had a nice batting practice today. A lot of free and easy swings. Ball was flying out off of his bat. Dietrich has picked up that production at the bottom of the lineup.
Ozuna at third, 2-2. Came in. It stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Christian Yelich, his 16th homer. Has Miami on the board. Marcell Ozuna, who has 2 hits, is dancing away from third base. And he got him. Scherzer with a changeup. And Dietrich strikes out with Christian Yelich opposite field again. And it's 2-1 in DC. cuts Washington's lead in half. It's 2-1. Now tomorrow, the Marlins and the Nationals, South Florida Honda dealers, present Marlins Live. That just gets us rolling. Emails and tweets tomorrow night. Baseball's best tools. Best power, best speed. That's the man with the best power. We do that every year. We'll not only do the best tools throughout baseball, but we'll also take a look at best tools and such on the Marlins squad. Matt Wieters is up. Jose Ureña's had control issues, and it's cost him. Both runs were walks. Wieters knocks one into left field for a hit. The man doesn't just show up in walks, it shows up in hitters' counts. And that's happening as well to Ureña tonight.
Well, last 2 innings, leadoff runner on. That side of the plate, away to lefties, in on righties, is where the two-seamer just has not had the same action it's had over the last few starts. I want to say it's flattening out just a little bit.
Knee-high strike. Both the Worth and Scherzer were activated before the ball game off the DL. Worth stay a lot longer for sure. And he takes away. This is a guy that's accomplished an awful lot in his career. Jason Worth at the end of a 7-year contract that when signed, many people thought the Nationals had overpaid, and maybe they did. But one thing they were looking for was another big piece to pair with Zimmerman, and Worth certainly has given them that. In the air, Real Muto on deck circle, and it's off the screen beyond the reach of JT.
Certainly looks like there's some wins. Some of the higher pop-ups. So JT Real Muto's route. He was reading that ball on the way down, not able to even get a jump after it.
Two in, and it moves the feet of Worth, who used to be a catcher in the minor leagues. Jason Worth coming up, did some catching. He was originally drafted by Baltimore, first round back in 1997. Jason Worth, left field and deep. If it stays there, it's gone, and it's both. It's fair, it's gone, and the Nationals lead is 4-1.
This elevated off-speed pitch, certainly too high in the zone.
If you're going to come off the disabled list, you might as well do it with a bang. And a curtain call, they want him to take it. There he is.
Let's take one more look. That's the elevated changeup. At the belt. Jason Worth all over it, no doubt. See the bat flip there. A little reaction with the dugout.
Defoe lines it. Yelich runs it down. A loud first out here in the home half of the fourth. That brings up Scherzer. The Worth is that, look, for all the injuries that he's had, he's still been a presence, and it certainly helped a lot of the young Nationals develop around Zimmerman, around Worth. It took a lot of the burden off of Zimmerman's shoulders when he signed 7 years ago.
Well, I think it's fair to say, even for Nats fans.
Dietrich to his left. Throws out Scherzer.
Nice play by Dietrich. That there was an idea or an identity that the Nationals were able to develop by bringing Worth in. You think, okay, well, are the Nationals going to be big spenders? This is going all the way back to the beginning when they first originally signed him. You know, how are they going to operate? How is ownership going to operate? How are they going to develop their team and their system? Well, sure, it was going to be drafting talent and developing that talent as well, but then you realize that, well, they've got other ways of doing it too, and they can go out there and be one of the teams that's willing to hand out one of the biggest contracts in all of baseball.
Howie Kendrick takes a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike, and the Nationals are going to go through that next year. Bryce Harper, his final year of arbitration, he'll be a free agent after the 2018 season, after next year. And the big question is, do the Nationals have the money? Will they spend it on Bryce Harper?
Well,
who's going to get a Stanton-like contract, whether it's the Nationals or the Dodgers or the Yankees?
What's the price tag? Yeah, and I see that's the big money question. Is I don't think anybody really knows what the price tag is.
Kendrick,
when you add up his accomplishments, his age, his future in the game, his marketability, I mean, right, he's got to be the highest paid guy, but where is that? Yeah, and that's a tough one. So I think really what it ends up coming down to is not what that number ends up being. It's how much does Bryce Harper want to see free agency, or how much does he want to stay here? Because I think that number is ultimately going to be there in some way, whatever number we all choose for it to be. I think even for Bryce Harper.
Off of Dietrich, Rojas bare hands, fires to first, and it's into the camera well. It had all the makings of a spectacular play until it wasn't. Rojas with a bare hand overthrew Talise.
Well, valiant effort. Dietrich, left-hand side, knocks it right to Talise. Bare hand throw. See Talise not able to keep it in the field of play. A little bit too high. Talise, and the throw leaves the field of play. It's going to cost him a base.
It's going to be a base hit first, and then an E6. And now you're into Michael Taylor, and pitch count 2 with Urania is an issue. 89 pitches, and it's only the 4th inning.
Pitch count has gone up. Obviously, struggled with his command tonight. Nationals have put together some good at bats, to admit. Urania has not been that off. Though his slider really hasn't been there for him tonight. Just pitched very, very carefully. Sometimes that ends up being the mistake. Obviously, the walks have led to a couple of runs.
Taylor swings through it, and the count's 0-2. Just off the plate. Marlins bullpen doesn't have anybody throwing, but a lot of guys are standing right now, which means everybody's on alert. 96 with the fastball. It's 2-2.
And I think this is a pretty good example of what the Nats have done against Urania. Taylor's put together a pretty good at bat. 0-2 has worked back to 2-2. We've seen this a few different times in tonight's game.
Taylor chases. Big swing. Jason Worth, 2-run homer. 4-1 Nats. 4-1. Jose Urena seems to be done here. 94 pitches. He's due up third this inning. And Dustin McGowan starts his warm-up procedures. Max Scherzer now with a 3-run cushion. And here is Talise. And he takes out Ichiro underneath that dugout roof. Has got a helmet on, batting gloves ready. Talise pops that one into shallow right. Murphy's out, and Daniel Murphy makes a nifty catch in front of Worth. So an out here in the 5th. Geico presents this date in Marlins history. Jesus Taveras, first Marlin to record 2 triples in a game. It's happened 6 times since, but he was the first. Any triples in your Marlins career?
That's a good question. It's a possibility. I mean, I would assume probably 1 or 2 at least.
Great triples ballpark in 03 that you played in.
I'd have to go look. A couple of sliders for Scherzer. Scherzer usually when he gets a lead, he gets tougher. That's what he's known for.
To me, one of the great moments of the All-Star game in Miami was Fox having Scherzer mic'd up and listening to him grunt as he delivered the pitch. And they actually did like a medley of his greatest grunts. Pitch after pitch after pitch. Just the max effort. You can hear it a little bit in our crowd mix here at Nationals Park.
We're a little farther away from the field.
Yes, well, we have, thankfully, we have state-of-the-art audio equipment in and around the diamond.
Right.
Because from up here, you're right, we can't hear a whole lot. 1-2. There's the grunt.
Well, usually all we hear up here are jet engines.
That's completely accurate. Count 2-2, 4-1. Rojas stays alive.
That's a pretty good example with 2 strikes as a hitter, how defensive you have to be against Scherzer. You have to keep in the back of your mind the possibility of that slider, certainly aware of it. What does that do to the fastball? It speeds it up. 94 turns into 96, 97. A nice take by Rojas. That really is the cat and mouse game that hitters play against Scherzer. Very difficult to not only hit anything he throws, but even if you're sitting on one, defend the other. Meaning if you're sitting on the fastball, defending that slider, because it is so hard to see.
And Rojas walks. Brings up Ichiro and Jessica Blaylock, though not in that order. Jess?
Hey, Rich, when you come to Nationals Park, there's one thing that you can't miss, and it's Max Scherzer staring at you from right field. Now, we know that he has 2 different colored eyes, but did you know that his dog actually has the same condition? Max and his wife, Erica, are big-time supporters of the Humane Society. They've adopted 2 dogs from a local shelter, including Bo, who has 1 blue eye and 1 brown eye, just like his dad, Max. How about that?
And his nickname for Players Weekend was Blue Eye, singular. Ichiro takes a fastball up, and the count is 1-0. So Ichiro, this is an early pinch hitting appearance, but he's been darn good at it this year. Ichiro now has the Marlins team record for pinch hits in a season. He's at 22. The major league record in a single season is 28. And that ball is out into shallow center. And it's caught there by Wilmer Defoe. Speaking of nicknames, it doesn't often happen that the Nationals and the Orioles are home at the same time. But Baltimore is home playing Seattle with a 5-4 lead. As I remember the nicknames, Mr. Miami this weekend was Manny Machado. He's 1 for 3 with a double. And Mr. 305, Yonder Alonso, is in that game as well. He's 0 for 2.
Deke Gordon, a beautiful bunt single. His first time up, struck out in the third. Love to find a way to get on right here and set up Stanton for maybe a moment against Scherzer.
Gordon, a bunt single that Scherzer got to, but was in such a hurry he never really got the handle. That was up the first base line. This one's down the third base line, and it's a foul ball. This is the third time through the order for Scherzer. Miami has 4 hits. One of those, a Christian Yelich homer. 2 of the other hits belong to Marcell Ozuna, and both those were hit hard. Line drive single to center and a line drive double down the left field line. On Players Weekend, you could not choose a nickname that was copyrighted. So I think Machado with Mr. Miami and Alonso with Mr. 305 were okay. But if they had gone Mr. Worldwide, I think Pitbull might have had a problem with that.
Right.
One-two to D. And he got him. A grunt and a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And the Marlins are done in the 5th. Florida is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass. By Hankook, chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealer. Rich Schwartz, Todd Hollinsworth, Jessica Blaylock.
Dustin McGowan into the ball game for the Marlins. looking to right the ship just a little bit. 65 in the third innings. That leads the bullpen. He's been knocked around his last 2 times out. Once against the Phillies, once in that San Diego series, giving up 4 home runs in his last 2 appearances. So Dustin's had a fantastic season and has been a big reason this bullpen has been able to keep it together.
Look, every pitcher has one game they'd like to erase, and I think McGowan would like to have a do-over that appearance in Philadelphia.
Well, and interestingly enough, that was merely a game for him to get some work in. Marlins were up rather handily and ended up giving up 3 home runs in that ball game. But as we know in this game, a lot of times it's always connected, right? So he comes out, fortunately, in the Padres series and gives up another home run.
That was the first game of that doubleheader in Philly. Daniel, I'm not sure what we're looking for there on just your average hitter. Nothing average about Murphy. I think that's graphical sarcasm. There's a 1-2. A little humor. It's recognized with the quotation marks. I think that helps.
Well, how about a cut fastball? A 1-2 pitch from Dustin McGowan. Nice job taking care of one of the game's best hitters.
And McGowan arrives right in the middle of the Nationals order with Zimmerman and Rendon to follow. Zimmerman walked in the first. The line score for Jose Urena, not what he's accustomed to achieving, at least in this season. 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, the 3 walks. 2 of those scored, 4 strikeouts, and countless hitters counts in which he fell behind early.
It's pretty much the first time in the second half where that 2-seam command was not nearly as good on the inside part of the plate to the right-handed hitters. Compare that with a slider that was inconsistent. Did throw a few decent ones in this game. But all in all, Urena's going to throw a lot more big games in the month of September. And I don't think it's a bad spot to get him out of there. Maybe you could have nursed another inning out of him. But you also have to consider career high in innings pitched already this season. He's obviously taken on a pretty good workload, and not that he's not capable of going more in September. I certainly believe that he is, but Don Mattingly and the staff are really keeping a watchful eye on him. He's had such a productive season, and if there is an opportunity to save an inning or 2, they're typically going to do that.
Inside corner. Dustin McGowan, a sharp arrival here. There's your Fox tracks. That's a perfect pitch right on the black.
D-backs got the breaking ball working and had a couple of strikeouts in the middle of this Nats lineup.
Rendon, an RBI single, and he struck out. Of course, the Jason Worth 2-run homer in the 4th took this game from 2-1 to 4-1. I think today, without a doubt, the biggest news in this country and the biggest news in baseball is the awful flooding down in Texas. The Astros, who were unable to get home, they had to go to Dallas and check into a hotel, have had their series against the Rangers moved to St. Pete's. McGowan's over. That's a nice 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. To the 6th, Giancarlo Stanton will lead it off. Miami's down 4-1. All right, thank you, Craig. Stanton in the box. Scherzer delivers. A slider and a swing and a miss. Last time here facing Scherzer, third time up, 6th inning. And Stanton drove this one out to left center field.
Sure did. Got every ounce of that ball.
And Scherzer pounding the strike zone. Stanton's not happy, but it's a strike. It's a perfect strike.
Outer third, top of the zone.
0-2 coming. Swing and a miss. 96 elevated. And a frustrating night for Giancarlo. He's not had one of these in a long while.
Right back up the ladder. You see that at the letters. We've not seen Giancarlo expand his strike zone too many times here in the month of August. Tonight he's done it a couple of times.
Christian Yelich struck out in the first, homered to left in the fourth. And it seems like the velocity's up, the volume on the grunting is up as well. Yelich rolls that one into right field for a base hit. So Christian Yelich 2 for 3.
Bring your family to see the Fish take on the Phillies on Sunday, September 3rd. Pick up Aquafina Family 4-pack starting at $84. Sell 4 tickets, 4 Nathan's all beef hot dogs, and 4 Pepsi soft drinks or Aquafina waters. Purchase tickets at marlins.com/Aquafina. Marlins fan.
The best swings against Max Scherzer, Christian Yelich and Marcell Ozuna. And here's Ozuna 2 for 2. 2 line drives, a double down the left field line, a line drive to center for a single.
Marcell has gotten in the box tonight ready to hit. He hasn't seen too much. He's been on his game. Between the two of them, 4 hits, all hit very hard against Scherzer.
I mean, look at that line down below, and you see the multi-hit leaders in the National League. Ozuna second to Charlie Blackmon. Obviously, Giancarlo Stanton is the headliner right now. But Ozuna is a lot more than just a warm-up act. He would be the headliner on just about every other team in the National League. The way he's going right now.
People would be putting together their argument for why he should be the MVP. Well, get this. All right, 940 OPS in the first half. So much has been made about Marcell Ozuna having a strong second half in his career. Well, he's currently got a 911 OPS in this second half this season here in 2017. And in fact, talk about having a strong second half. That OPS is actually better than any half a season he's had other than the first half of this season. So that tells you, do you believe that Marcell Ozuna is the type of player that first half, second? Listen, this has been a complete season for him. RBI start to finish, home run start to finish, batting average start to finish. He has been, say it again, the most consistent Marlins hitter.
On pace for upper 30s in home runs. He's got 27 doubles now. 3-0 pitch, and he had a rip at it and fouls it back.
Scherzer wisely, with two-seam fastball there, had some late action on it. Did not just throw a fastball over the plate for Marcell to get after.
Scherzer doesn't walk many. Just 40 on the season, 1 tonight. And he misses in, and Ozuna walks. And so Miami is going to bring the tying run to the plate, and that's JT Realmuto with 1 out here in the 6th. Easy to make the transition from Scherzer to Rocket Arms, brought to you by Quicken Loans. Starter innings. Dusty Baker likes his starters to go deep, and deep they go. Second in Major League Baseball. Mike Maddox, highly decorated pitching coach for the Nats. Only the Giants get more innings out of their starters. Fastball in. Realmuto hit 1 out, but foul. That was back in the 4th. Just hooked it left of the foul pole. He's had a struggle in his career against Scherzer. 1 for 19.
The numbers don't favor this situation particularly well. You mentioned JT, 1 for now 19 against Scherzer. Number 5 hitters against Scherzer on the season, only have 3 hits. In fact, that is the single spot in any lineup, pitcher versus a spot in the lineup, is dominated by the pitcher. 0.46 batting average, 5 hitters against Scherzer this season.
So is that happenstance?
I think it is, in part.
It has to be happenstance, because you can't tell me that Scherzer says, oh, here's the number 5 hitter. I eat these guys up.
I'm going to really start dialing it in right now. No. Those things do just happen, and a lot of times you stumble across numbers that kind of catch your attention. That's certainly one that I've been watching for some time. I think I watch it more out of curiosity because I believe JT's ultimately going to get him at some point.
That's one way to look at it. He is due.
Right.
Or the number 5s are due. Righty on righty changeup. A really good one.
Now just when you think you got a good temperature of what Scherzer's doing against you, whether it's the 2-seam fastball or the slider, he breaks out that nasty changeup at 86 miles an hour, and the life on it, my goodness, it bottoms out just as it crosses home plate.
Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. As we told you, a sizable lead over Jacob deGrom for the strikeout crown in the National League. Now Dietrich, hit by a pitch. He knows how Real Muto feels because he struck out on a changeup. It was down low his last time up. Brian Ellington in Miami's bullpen.
That's the complete arsenal from Scherzer, and he's had it working just about all season long. He throws the 4-seam fastball about 46% of the time. Won't mix in the 2-seamer as well. Slider 30%.
Dietrich, sharp ground ball. That's Murphy. And Max Scherzer strands 2 and still leads it 4-1. One ball game. Lots of Max Scherzer. 2-run homer by Jason Worth. Christian Yelich with an opposite field homer. That's the offense for the Fish. Dustin McGowan ventures into the bottom of the 6th. A 4-1 ball game. Matt Wieters, Worth, and Wilmer Defoe
Reeder's got the 4th inning started with a base hit the other way.
And a liner into right field. Matt Wieters has a couple of hits. All right, so the Nationals, and not necessarily what's on the field right now. We have talked about some of the guys they're missing and hope to get back. They have Worth back tonight. It's paid off with a 2-run homer. Obviously, they're hoping to have Harper and Turner back. The Nationals and the Cubs, if that's the matchup, it's not a done deal. The Cubs only have a 2-game lead in the Central to start play tonight. I think everybody wants to avoid the Dodgers, at least initially, but with the wild card seemingly right now at Arizona and Colorado, if that holds, and the Dodgers with the best record would get the wild card game winner, and it would be Nationals and Cubs. Worth pulls that one foul. What would your thumbnail on that series be?
On the Nats and the Cubs?
Yes.
It's a good one. I think with all things considered right now, I would probably look at the Cubs and think with their track record and their health that I'd lean that direction. But I say that conditionally based on what there's this huge X factor out here right now. You asked me that question. I don't know what to put on Bryce Harper. Is Bryce Harper back? Is he back healthy? Is he back at 100%? Is he kind of healthy? Is he kind of back? Is he back at all?
Well, the one thing I think for the Nationals, it feels like if Strasburg's healthy, Gio Gonzalez has had a terrific year.
Yes.
That adds some depth to a postseason rotation.
Well, that's right. So you're talking about nullifying the Cubs' bats. At the same time, I think that the Cubs' rotation has actually been throwing the ball better. Arrieta has, definitely dialed it up a couple of notches and certainly getting things going in the right direction. Lackey's been throwing the ball better. They're in a position as well. It's tough to gauge. I think I would give you the answer that I believe the Nats are probably the team I would pick if Bryce Harper is back and is 100% healthy.
That's a foul ball. Just foul. Coming up mid-7th, our Jeep Compass game break. Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson. Jeff Nelson from, not necessarily from here, but I believe from Baltimore. Maybe he'll regale us in the 7th inning with some local stories, possibly playing in those great pickup games with the Cal Ripken, the infamous basketball player. Nelly, a terrific player himself. That one missed, or at least it was in just off the plate. That one fouled back and out of play.
An extended period of time on the disabled list for Jason Worth. Missed 75 games, although only 6 rehab games, and he's back here with the Nats. He looks like he maybe just missed a short period of time. 75 games is a good chunk of the season.
Worth hits that one high and out of play. Now look, I know Noah Syndergaard had the cameo on Game of Thrones, but I think they missed the boat with Worth. He's the original Game of Thrones guy.
Right.
In fact, didn't he used to come to the plate with the Game of Thrones music as his walk-up?
I believe so.
Those New York guys, they get all the breaks.
Right, they do.
It shows you how much I'm paying attention. He actually came to the plate in his first at bat to the Game of Thrones theme, so he still is coming up to that music.
Well, shame on me. I didn't know that
either. Long at bat, Dustin McGowan, Jason Worth. Wieters is still at first. And into left field it goes. And Jason Worth looks like he's in mid-season form after 2.5 months on the disabled list.
Certainly does. Hanging breaking ball, stays on it, rips it into left field. The Nats are just thrilled to see him producing back out on the field and having productive at bats. If he didn't get a hit right there, I think you'd look at that and say a 12-pitch bat, fouled off some tough pitches. All good signs for the Nats that Jason Worth is back and ready to go.
Not a good sign for the Marlins that the Nationals are back in business. First and second, nobody out. Wilmer Defoe. Defoe's bat has really perked up. Hits in 18 of his last 21 ball games. Trey Turner is a young shortstop, but a very, very good defensive shortstop. Defoe's not that far behind. He's played very well. And the Nats are thrilled with his keeping that seat warm. That's by Gordon into right. Stanton has it. Wieters a hold at third. And the bags are loaded here with nobody out. And Max Scherzer coming up.
3 consecutive singles for the Nats. Bottom of the lineup getting it done. Wieters base hit, Worth base hit. Defoe base hit to the right side. See, this one just gets through. By D. Gordon, they were playing a double play depth.
Infield in. McGowan and Scherzer. Time called. Juan Nieves is on his way out to the mound. It's funny, about 2 innings ago, we were checking in on that game over in Baltimore where we had Mr. Miami and Mr. 305.
305, yeah.
I don't know what the nickname is for Danny Valencia, but he's a Miami guy, Miami born, University of Miami. And he's 2 for 2. His 14th home run, 6-6. Seattle has tied that game. Valencia a Mariner. It's bottom 6. Seattle and Baltimore, 2 wild card hopefuls in the American League. Justin Nicolino's up in the bullpen. McGowan here. 1-0 to Scherzer. Zero grand slams, but a 286 average.
Yeah, he's 1 for 1 this season.
With the bags loaded. Well, career at 286.
Right.
That's impressive.
It is. You know what that speaks to? Competitor. Is there any doubt? he smells it. He's ahead to count 2-1.
Ozuna's got it. Runner tags, and Ozuna fires it home, holding his Wieters. Well, that may be even harder than the home run that he hit.
That's just tough luck. Can't do anything with that. See the frustration on Scherzer's face. Now, this is the cruelty of baseball, right? You do everything right. You put a good swing on it. Should be some reward. Well, no, not when you hit it to the wrong person. Marzel Ozuna right there, able to get momentum coming towards home. Wieters really no chance to even get back to tag. The ball was hit so hard. Sometimes baseball just doesn't make sense to the hitters, does it?
Or the pitchers, who are hitters.
Right, right.
Howie Kendrick takes a strike. Kendrick has struck out, walked, and is singled. Infield looks for 2. Kendrick pounds that one foul, and it's 0-2.
The intensity in Scherzer's eyes as he's heading out of the box.
Dustin McGowan with an 0-2 pitch. Muto knocks it down. The count's 1-2. 95 miles an hour off the bat. Liner to left. Nationals started early. Jose Urena struck out the first 2 he faced in the first, but then 2 walks, stolen base, wild pitch, RBI single. It was 1-0. Breaking ball is down low. Another walk, this one to lead off the third. After another hit, Howie Kendrick would score on Ryan Zimmerman's ground ball out. And Jason Worth with a 2-run homer, and Urena only got through that inning, the 4th. This is McGowan's 2nd inning in relief. Two. Liner center, Yelich. And it gets by. And it goes to the warning track. Scoring his Wieters. Scoring his Worth. Defo scores. And Kendrick arrives at third. 7-1 Nationals.
Well, Christian Yelich took a chance. It's a do-or-die play, but the bases loaded down in this ball game, 4-1. He's going to come in and try to make a shoestring catch. Get a throw off towards home, and unfortunately this one's going to get all the way to the wall. Watch Yelly, quick read, no hesitation, just not able to keep it in front. Once it's by Yelich, it's off to the races.
Infield in for this Michael Taylor at bat. 7-1 Nationals here. Still waiting on the official score, whether it's a single and 2-base error or a triple, and it looks like triple.
Well, Howie Kendrick has been absolutely outstanding as a National. Came into tonight's ball game hitting .341 for the Nats, 18 RBIs. Hitting well on this homestand, and hitting well with his runners in scoring position, as you just saw. .395 in the season.
And hitting well against Miami. Remember the series he had down in Miami. Marlins couldn't get him out, it seemed.
5-for-5 ball game.
Taylor swings through it. Check swing, little roller up the line. Talise keeps Kendrick at third and is going to get the out at first. Daniel Murphy comes up. Toyota gives you an inside look, brought to you by the all-new RAV4. Marlins Nationals, pretty even here. Marlins 6 wins, Nationals 7.
How about the number of one-run ball games you see just by adding up the total there at the bottom? 7 of the 13 games they've played this year have been decided by a run.
In fact, the Marlins in the last series that they played here lost 3 of 4, but 2 of those 3 losses were one-run losses. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. Double switch coming as well. 7-1 Nationals. Brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Get a $6 value for $5 when you ask for the grouper from the Florida Lottery with so many life-changing prizes. Get your group ready. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to dance like this or to play. Play responsibly, too. Dance responsibly, for goodness sakes. Unless you win the lottery. So it's Nicolino now, and the Nationals have cracked this one open.
For Nicolino, 5.45 ERA on the season. Fastball, cut fastball, changeup and curve. It stands out. You see the opponent's batting average against 343. So a lot of good looks against Nicolino this year. Aviles in at third for the Marlins.
And Mike Aviles is going to go into that 9th spot in the order. Derek Dietrich comes out. And Daniel Murphy gets the at-bat with 2 outs. And Nicolino with a strike. To the left center field. That's going to knock home Kendrick. Daniel Murphy makes it 8-1.
Yeah, you watch elite hitters. Very rarely do you want to let them see 2 pitches, similar velocity, similar spot. Daniel Murphy, he got just that. Second fastball, he did not miss. He took the first one, lined it into center field.
Zimmerman now, 10 hits for the Nationals. And now with 8 runs, Miami 5 hits with their 1 run. If you're looking for some good news as a Marlin fan, Detroit has put 2 runs up in Denver in the top of the 1st. And leads the Rockies 2-0.
What you just admitted to?
What's that?
Scoreboard watching. I love it.
Oh, it's an 8-1 game. I gotta watch something,
well,
right?
That's right.
We all need.
Well, I mean, with it, we're checking in on the Rockies and the Brewers and the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks.
Liner to right field. It's a base hit. What is that old John Lennon song? Whatever gets you through the night.
Yeah. We're in that stage of this game.
Well,
no doubt.
It's whatever gets you through the 6th. And that is check in on other games, because look, the Nationals are up 8-1. Scherzer's grunting his way through a really nice night. You want to see what would be the consequences if the Marlins lose this ball game. Colorado is the second wild card team. The Marlins are 4.5 behind them. And so, obviously, you want to know how those Rockies are doing. And let's hope that the Tigers have a good night at a mile high.
Scoreboard watching.
Sure. I'm in. Cubs are playing Pittsburgh tonight and have a 1-0 lead in the 5th inning at Wrigley Field. Cubs lead over Milwaukee is 2 games. Milwaukee is not in action tonight. Neither is Arizona. Have you seen any Arizona highlights lately?
I've seen a few over the weekend.
My goodness.
Yeah.
It's like the Men of Steel softball team that just rolls into town and blasts them up into the seats. 0-2.
A pretty good combination in the middle of their lineup. Goldschmidt and Lamb. They're not the only ones. A.J. Pollock. Got a good team.
Don't sleep on my Aggie, Daniel Descalso, who homered
3 in a row, right?
Yeah, the other night for 3 in a row.
Would you have guessed that would have been the 3rd one, right? Homer. Here comes Descalso, homer.
I had that in the pool.
Yes.
Actually, he almost hit it in the pool.
Right.
In Arizona. 2-2 here to Rendon. Two pitch. Rendon outside. We told you Rendon is from Houston. It reminds us that you can help people who have been affected by the Hurricane Harvey. Visit redcross.org. You can text the word Harvey to 9099. By doing that, you make a $10 donation. And of course, your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help recover people in this disaster. 9099 is the number. Harvey is the text. That's a $10 donation. It's eerily similar in baseball and in the date on the calendar to that awful hurricane that swept through Louisiana. Also, Houston was affected. That was Katrina. And that's what sent the Astros and the Cubs up to Milwaukee. And that's where Carlos Zambrano threw a no-hitter against the Astros. That was a home game for them. That one fouled off of Real Muto. So a neutral site games in St. Pete's.
Right. Like there's a little feud going on between the two organizations, between the Astros and the Rangers. In fact, Astros were wanting to swap series, their home for the Astros home, but they didn't want to do it. Rangers only wanted it so that they had all 6 games at their ballpark.
So the Rangers weren't willing to move the.
They weren't willing to move the series back around. They wanted to flip. That's why it ended up in Tampa.
Pitch is in. Bags are loaded. And here is is Wieters. Astros scheduled to play at the end of September against the Rangers in Arlington. Bags are loaded. 4 runs have scored. 2 outs. Wieters 2 for 3 already. And of course, his hit started the inning.
You saw the numbers with the bags packed. Wieters has been outstanding throughout his career and certainly this season.
Nicolino now with the count 2-1. Nicolino is the long man. The Marlins with the double switch, obviously hoping that Nicolino can give them multiple innings, if not the rest of the night, because the Fish don't have an off day for a while. They have just 2 off days the rest of the year.
No place to put Wieters.
Wieters fouls that one into the seats. Count now 3-2. Nicolino's faced 3 hitters. A single, a walk. And that's into center field. 2 runs will score. Murphy across. Zimmerman scores. Rendon at third base. And the Nationals put up 2 more. 10-1.
This one is wide open. Nicolino struggling with his command, falling behind hitters. Putting up the batting average against lefties and righties. Their fair share of good fortune against Nicolino this season. The Nats have not backed off. Offense still rolling. See the production from the bottom of this lineup. 3rd hit for Wieters.
There you go, a little Game of Thrones entry for Worth. Home plate umpire Jim Wolf is motioning out to D. Gordon, wanting to know if the second base umpire Sam Holbrook was in his way. Gordon was motioning to Holbrook, who moves a couple steps to his left. Nicolino to the plate. Worth takes outside. Jason Worth doesn't look like a guy that's been on the disabled list for over 2 months. 2-run homer in the 4th. And a solid single in the 6th.
That at bat, a 12-pitch at bat. Nicolino continues to fall behind hitters. Sets up many of these veteran national hitters. Looking for 1 pitch in 1 spot. 2-0 and 2-1, 3-1. So those numbers against Nicolino in his career.
Slow tapper. Rojas on to first in time to get work. But a long inning, 6 runs for the Nationals, and it's 10-1 now. Any more cushion. He's got it after a 6-run 6th inning. Max Scherzer going after win number 13. The Marlins have 1 run, and that was a Christian Yelich homer to left. The Fish have had traffic on the bases. They had 2 runners on with 1 out in the 6th, didn't score. Left a runner in the 5th. Left another in scoring position in the 4th. And had a couple of runners aboard in the 2nd. Here's Tomas Telis.
Telis grounded into a 1-6-3 his first time up. Double play. Popped out to second. 5th.
Saw where Joe Girardi was giving Aaron Judge the night off against the Indians. Hitting 179 his last 27 games. Roller to second. Murphy on to first.
Get the ballpark pass and receive mobile access to every remaining regular season home game for only $29.99 per month. Join us for great matchups, giveaways, fireworks, and more during the final months of the season for less than $3 per game. For more information, download the MLB.com ballpark app or visit marlins.com/pass today. Some restrictions do apply. Colorado Rockies have answered in Denver, a 2-2 bottom 2. Jonathan Lucroy, a 2-run home run for the Rockies.
Of course, the Marlins still have to go to Denver. That's late in September. Also go to Arizona on that road trip.
I think Miguel Rojas said it most appropriately. Here he is in the box just a couple of days ago. He said, we see that stretch on the schedule. Certainly it's 2 teams leading this wild card. We need to make up ground before we get there. You don't want to go in there trailing those teams by 5 games. You want to give yourself a realistic opportunity, which means you've got to play 2 or 3 games better than the Diamondbacks and Rockies over the next couple of weeks.
Scherzer still stalking around the mound, bubbling with intensity, strikes out Rojas. Here comes Mike Aviles.
We continue to rave about the secondary pitches with Scherzer all night long, really all season long. see the slider off the outside corner. Picks up another strikeout. Now 9 in the ball game.
Aviles with his first at bat. Aviles in the ball game at third base.
Nice day yesterday. A couple of hits. A pretty nice August for the Marlins. .290 batting average, .353 on base percentage in the month of August.
One fouled out of play. Speaking of third base, a lot of guys are rooting for this third baseman to get back to the game. David Wright had to shut down his attempt at coming back, his rehab assignment, shoulder pain. So the Mets have shut him down. Of course, he had neck surgery last June.
Fair question. Is it all related, or is this something maybe secondary? Because, you know, again,
it is a fair question. In the article that I'm reading, it looks like the Mets suspect it's connected.
Right.
He'll be examined. 0-2 pitch to Aviles. Fastball is up. Sandy Alderson acknowledging a couple weeks ago that his Wright's future with the club may be at another position. Realizing he may not have the arm strength needed at third after all the surgery. 1-2 slider. Two and two. Scherzer looking for strikeout number 10. Aviles looking for some contact. There's number 10. That's a magical number for the Nationals tonight. 10 strikeouts for Scherzer, a 10-1 lead. And we head back to the studio, Fox Sports Studio, for this Jeep Compass game break. Justin Nicolino back to work, bottom 7. Tyler Moore is in the ball game in right field as Don Mattingly is going to try to get a few guys some innings off. So Giancarlo Stanton out of the game. Max Scherzer, 10 strikeouts through 7 innings. Solidifying what could be a Cy Young season as he heads towards September.
Most of the numbers point in that direction. A double-digit strikeout performance. Really only had one moment in this ball game. Maybe it was the back-to-back pitches, one to Yelich, one to Ozuna. Ozuna was only a double, didn't come around to score, but for Yelich, the home run.
Will it be Scherzer and Kershaw dueling in the National League Championship Series?
It's a good possibility. Seasonal records are indicators.
By the way, just to clarify, because whenever you make a mistake, like if you bobble a ground ball, you throw one away, you want to get the next one hit right to you. It was actually Hurricane Ike in which sent the Astros up to Milwaukee, and Carlos Zambrano threw his no-hitter. Cubs against Houston. Wilmer Defoe off the wall. Yelich picks it up. Defoe's not stopping, on his way to third, and he's going to get there with a triple.
Tell you what, Rich, Defoe's an exciting young player. Continues to impress. Offensive game, hits for power. Both sides of the plate, obviously possesses a tremendous amount of speed. That speed on display along with the power. He's going to short hop the wall. That's just out of the box. He's cooking, turns on the jets. Now for most, this is a stand-up double. Defoe, He's got another gear. Takes it all the way around to third.
Busted bat that's going to score a run. Alejandro De Aza. Former Marlins still in the game. Hitting for Scherzer. He drives home Defoe, and it's 11-1. Nationals on top. And Howie Kendrick comes up.
A long night for the Marlins. Howie's had a very nice ball game. A couple of more hits.
It's been a long season for the Tigers. They had a 2-0 lead. The Rockies now have a 3-2 lead. That one has all the earmarks of a long night in Denver. You spent a few long nights in Denver.
Yeah, well, that's the advantage the Rockies have at home is that they hit last. I mean, that's really what it is. Not going to speak to humidors or pitch sequencing or keeping the ball down.
By the way, I don't think they can get the humidor into Arizona's ballpark soon enough. Having watched that. What was the longest, highest scoring game you had as a Rocky? How many years as a Rocky, by the way?
3.
Okay.
3 years as a Rocky.
That's a good sample size.
Right. Well, I do remember this game in particular. It wasn't necessarily a Rockies game. I mean, listen, you're going to play games where there's double-digit scores all the time at altitude. But there is one game that I remember is actually when I was a Dodger playing the Rockies in Colorado. It was punch, counter punch all the way to the very end. And if I remember it correctly, there might have been like one inning where my team, Dodgers, or the Rockies at the time, didn't score a run. It was 1 run, 2 runs. 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, 2 runs. I mean, it literally went on all game long. I think the final score, if I remember correctly, was about 15-14.
Nice.
Yeah.
Quality start in there somewhere, right?
Well, if you were calling that game, you made sure you brought plenty of throat lozenges.
3-2 to Kendrick. Marlins had a wild 4th of July series there where Cody Ross drove in like 12 runs or something in the course of the series.
Well, not only are you rewarded for playing at altitude with the ball flying all over the place, I mean, there's a lot of other things that play into it. The size of the outfield, tons of hits. One thing that I always notice there is that balls don't go foul. It's one of the more interesting things that you see when you play in the thin air at altitude. So if you hit a ball down the line, almost as if it comes off the bat, if it's fair, it stays fair. I guess what I'm getting at, you don't see the ball that hooks foul or the ball that fades foul off a lefty's bat down the left field line, if it starts out fair, it stays fair. Pretty interesting.
Now that one I've not heard before, but
I believe me.
I'll look for that.
For somebody who's hit two home runs down the left field line at Coors Field in a ball that literally just stayed right down the line, speaking from experience.
Michael Taylor with a count 0-2.
I'd be willing to bet I'd hit that ball probably 6 or 7 times in my career, and it typically fades to the foul side of the foul pole. Altitude, not so much.
Slow roller. Rojas throws. Taylor is out. And Nicolino gives up a run here in the 7th. Marlins down in this one, 11-1. Tomorrow night, Marlins and Nationals. Van Swirly, Edwin Jackson. Game 2. Marlins obviously trying to bounce back after this one. Down 11-1 here. Jackson has been somewhat of a nice surprise for the Nationals. Worley's had success against Washington, so it should be fun tomorrow night. Rain in the forecast during the day in D.C. Alejandro De Aza makes an appearance in right field. And Matt Grace.
Sinker baller into the game. The Nationals following up the outstanding performance. Max Scherzer.
Scherzer's headed again to blow past that 200 inning mark. He's already way past the 200 strikeout mark. He's at 230. He adds 10 in 7 innings tonight. Gordon, Tyler Moore, and then Yelich. By the way, that wild game in Marlins history at Coors was 18-17. It was a walk-off win for the Rockies, 2008.
There you go. Thank you. For the Marlins, you're trying to put together productive at-bats late in this ball game. Obviously 11-1. Just something that you can take into tomorrow or maybe for the rest of this series. Obviously an at-bat against Grace. Couple of strikeouts against Scherzer. Nice bunt single his first time up. D. Gordon.
The 10 strikeouts were sprinkled all around Miami's batting order. Gordon a couple, Stanton a couple, Yelich one. Real Muto had one. Dietrich had one. Rojas as well. Solis escaped. He was 0 for 3. Put it in play 3 times. And Ozuna was not retired by Max Scherzer. Marcel had 2 solid hits and a walk. D. Gordon rolls that one up the middle into center field. He's on with a hit.
D. Gordon, 2-hit night. Didn't anticipate there'd be a whole lot of running going on here in the 8th inning. Continue to get on base. As I said, now the 8th inning, trying to put together some productive at bats and carry some momentum into tomorrow. Nice round of applause for Tyler Moore, former National. Nice run here with the Nats.
Those are his career numbers with the Nationals. Moore, who had that really nice run when Justin Bour was out with his first injury, trying to recapture that. In case you missed it, earlier we talked about Bour here with the ball club, taking batting practice, looking like he's getting close to health and getting close to getting back on the field. Roller to the left side. Rendon whips it across in time to get Moore. Gordon ends up at second base. And here's video proof. Look at the 2 broadcasters behind the cage doing their homework. One obscured by the screen. I've got Brian Schneider, and you're working on Frank Menachino and Don Manning.
That's right. 2 conversations going on at once.
Yelich tonight, a homer to left, single in the 6th. Also earlier, what was going on here?
Nice little conversation. Well, you want details?
Yeah, I mean, G, you got G in a good mood, which he usually is, by the way.
Almost always in a good mood. He's just getting ready for the game. I'm an old guy, remember? You know where Giancarlo Stanton's from, right? Southern California.
Yes.
Well,
Dodger talk.
There you go.
You talking about your days as a Dodger. G saying, hey, I was in right field from the bleachers watching you.
How the conversation started was something along those lines. Just talking, you know, talking shop. Old guy to young guy.
It's funny, both Stanton and Yelich grew up in Southern California. Going to Dodger games. Stanton's father took him to games, and just thinking about conversations and even reading it,
right.
Stanton said that was when he decided he wanted to play baseball in the big leagues.
His curiosity, that's where a lot of his questions were aimed, really were towards me today, just in you know, regards to my time in the Dodgers and early on in my career, some of the stuff I was dealing with. He remembered I was there. He goes, you were there in 96, 97. You went down for a couple of, like, yeah, it's right, man. I struggled. I had to go down. Got sent down for 17 days in 97. Had to fight my way back. This game grabs your attention a lot of times. It's not always easy. Certainly learned a lot about life. My early years there in Los Angeles. Nice at bat by Christian Yelich. Draws the walk. A couple of base runners.
Now, oftentimes you find when someone's played for the Dodgers and had success with the Dodgers, they find their way onto a sitcom or some game show.
Well, this is neither.
This is neither. You were never never happened upon any type of.
I'm not. Of course, I'm not sure I necessarily had reached that status with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, a lot of my teammates did. I mean, of course, I was playing with some megastars at the time, the Mike Piazzas and the Eric Karroses.
Oh, those guys. They got all the calls.
Right. Well, Hideo Nomo. I mean, we had quite a popular team in my nearly 10 years in the organization, 6 years at the major league level. Yeah.
You got called for what, mall openings? And
we need some guys in the background.
Thank you. We got just the guy. Run out you and Dave Hansen.
That's right. Me and Hanny.
Ozuna was 2 for 2, a single, doubled, and walked. In a game that has gotten away from the Marlins, obviously. One thing Don Mattingly has done a pretty good job of doing. He does not have a lot of, how should I put this, an abundance of resources in his bullpen.
Right.
And so on a night like this, it's almost a chance to, and that's the value of having Nicolino here now, is have a guy that can finish this game without having to
create a vulnerability tomorrow night.
Bring 2 or 3 guys in to bridge the gap and finish the game, and thus lose them potentially tomorrow, or eat up some of their time, and if they do pitch tomorrow, lose them on Wednesday.
Don Mattingly's done a phenomenal job this year isolating the bummer start. It's the best way to describe it. You know, you have that start. Hey, listen.
That sounds like a sabermetric stat waiting to happen.
Isolating the bummer start?
Yes. Isolate IBS?
Yeah, I isolate the bummer start. Well, listen, we all know what this start is. It just didn't go well. Nothing's gone right for the Marlins.
Let's go ITBS.
Couple of good offensive performances against Scherzer, right? I mean, that's what we'll extract. We'll be talking about it tomorrow.
In the left field, that's a base hit. Gordon races around third on his way home. And Marcell Ozuna's got a 3-hit night with an RBI and a double and a walk.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic approach this evening for Marcell Ozuna. Now his 3rd hit of the ball game. Grace, the master of getting the ball on the ground. Well, he's got plenty of exit velocity to get through the left side. So there you go. There's your sabermetric. D. Gordon around to score. Dare I say, cut into the 11-2 lead.
How about reduce?
Reduce. That's right. I think that's the more appropriate word. Just getting back to that Don Mattingly conversation. You know, I mean, we've watched him do this many times this year.
Zimmerman calls and catches.
It never seems like there's the lingering effects after a bad loss the following day. There's a reset, maybe you might be down a guy or two, or somebody went long, but they always seem like they're in a very good position to win the next day, and that's again one of the major responsibilities of every manager in the game of baseball, is to put your team in the best position to win, not just today, but obviously what tomorrow's going to look like. And well, here's a pretty good example. Look who's hitting.
Justin Nicolino.
There you go.
So the goal here is to isolate the bummer start.
Yeah, well, 11-2 in the 8th. Definitely a bummer start.
Rockies 3-2 over the Tigers. Top 3. The Seattle-Baltimore game is going back and forth. Baltimore had the lead. Seattle tied it. Now Baltimore's up 7-6. Bottom 8 in Baltimore.
Cubs are up 2-0 over the Pittsburgh Pirates in Chicago.
Nicolino fights that pitch off. Counts 0-2. Cleveland beat the Yankees 6-2. Milwaukee not playing tonight. Arizona not playing tonight. St. Louis not playing tonight. Phillies 6-1 over Atlanta. That's top 9. Let's see what Rhys Hoskins is up to. He is 2 for 4 with an RBI, but no home runs. Cameron Rupp has homered for the Phils. That's it for Nicolino. Bottom of the 8th here in D.C. This is all Nationals tonight. Bottom 8 here. Showstopper, you know, triple plays. Sometimes you need a little deception, right? Rhys Hoskins known for his homers. That's a catch, but to the runners it looks like a drop, so everybody runs. That's the second out, and that's the third out in what is a triple play. This is ruled a catch, and they have to go to review for this. You're out. You're out. You're out.
Showstopper.
And he follows that up with a home run.
Of course he did.
That's who he is. That's what he does right now. The rookie for the Phillies, Rhys Hoskins. No homers tonight, though. He's got a couple hits. Justin Nicolino back to work. Daniel Murphy.
I think he's bummed out he hasn't hit a homer yet.
No, he's
2 for 4.
He's in the big leagues. He's getting paid a lot more than they get paid in the minor leagues. The meal money's great. The food in the clubhouse is great. Of course, there are some Philly fans complaining on talk shows that Matt Klentak took too long to call him up, that they should have called him up sooner if this is what he was about.
You think that would have made a difference in the standings?
No, it may have made a difference with Hoskins, though. He may not have been ready. Well, they may have brought him up at the right time for him to have success.
Right. I mean, that's my point. That's why I kind of asked that question. You know, I suppose with an element of sarcasm. I apologize. If that's
no sarcasm. Look, on my format,
what I meant by that was
sarcasm started in the 6th inning.
Right.
Gordon throws out Murphy. And on my format, it now says throw down to Jessica. Jessica?
Thoughts and prayers are obviously with the city of Houston tonight, who has suffered so much horrific flooding due to Hurricane Harvey. But luckily, there are people who are stepping up to help out with the relief efforts. That includes Major League Baseball and the Players Association, who has pledged $1 million. Houston Astros ownership has also pledged another $4 million. You can help those people who have been affected by Hurricane Harvey by visiting redcross.org or texting the word Harvey to 90999. By doing that, you'll make a $10 donation, which will help the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster. Guys.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Ryan Zimmerman at the plate. Zimmerman takes a strike. It's 0-2. Justin Nicolino in mop-up duty right now, trying to finish this game on the mound, preserve the rest of the pen for tomorrow night, game 2. Marlins ran into Max Scherzer tonight. Edwin Jackson is the starter tomorrow night for the Nationals. Jackson actually a Marlin briefly.
No surprise there.
One of the many stops on his Major League tour. Vance Worley and Edwin Jackson rumble tomorrow night, 6:30 for Marlins Live. Steven Strasburg, Adam Conley on Wednesday night, or actually Wednesday 4 o'clock nighttime for those of you in Nova Scotia. Two. The Detroit Tigers in that back and forth affair have added 2 runs. So Tigers have a 4-3 lead over the Rockies. That's still top 3. That one's got a long way to go.
They usually do.
Sammy Solis. Rojas streaks across behind the bag, makes the play. And Zimmerman is out number 2. It brings up Anthony Rendon.
Nice play by Rojas. He steps to his left. Strong throw across the diamond. 2 down here in the 8th.
Of course, tomorrow night's 7:05, Wednesday 4:05, and then 4 more with the Phillies starting Thursday night at Marlins Park. And then these Nationals come in, and that completes the homestand. So starting Thursday night, Phillies for 4, Nationals then for 3. Road trip to Atlanta and to Philly.
We'll be dealing with expanded rosters by then. MLB.com is your #1 mobile app for live Marlins baseball. Stay connected to a fully customizable experience. Club-based home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
You know, the one thing that impresses me about your reading is, and maybe I'm tainted,
How so?
is that you're really good at reading everything on the actual notice or drop it as it's called. Me, I get going and there's some words I just skip right by. I mean, like if there's a word that I don't agree with.
That might be radio. That might be my inner radio coming out.
Yes, I sometimes I just zip right through.
Right.
I'll leave out a customizable or
sometimes
you know
what I've learned. Sometimes I should do that as I stumble through the English language.
There's the inning for Rojas on first. Nicolino finishes the 8th to the 9th. It is 11-2 Nationals. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new Jeep Compass. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Hurry into the Summerbration sales event today. Nation's capital, Nationals Park, 11-2. Nationals on top. Sammy Solis for Washington. Some sketchy weather is arriving here in our nation's capital. Supposed to arrive early in the morning tomorrow with rain forecast for most of the day. Some rain at night. And so, as is often the case up here in D.C., both the Marlins and the Nationals will be checking the weather app on their phones throughout the day. We invite you to join us tomorrow night, 6:30. Count 0-2 to Solis. Solis against Solis. Center field, Taylor's there. Ball hangs up. And he's got it for the first out.
Ball's hit hard off the bat at Solis.
Miguel Rojas, who is 0 for 2. And a breaking ball starts his at bat. Just 7 hits for Miami. 3 of them belong to Marcell Ozuna. 2 of them belong to Christian Yelich.
3-4 combination in the lineup, pretty good tonight.
If you're just happening by this ball game, nice catch. Really nice play. And we've been waiting for this for 8.5 innings because it's our bonefish catch of the night, our bang bang catch of the game. Great food, great cocktails, and Bonefish Grill.
Got it all the way. Extension. Nicely done.
Mike Aviles now. He gets his second at bat. This night started with Max Scherzer coming out. 7 innings, a run, 5 hits, 10 strikeouts. Very Scherzer-like. A Yelich homer, the only run off of Scherzer. And that's into center field. Mike Aviles with a hit.
Aviles, his 3rd hit in the last couple of ball games. Advantage of some playing time. Bring up D. Gordon. D 2 for 4 on the night. Things started pretty well with a bunt single in the first. Last at bat single.
Scored on that Ozuna hit.
Indeed. Now at 91 runs scored. So only 1 away from his career high of 92.
I remember that was a topic of yours in spring training.
Well, it was.
Wanted to see if D. Gordon get to 100 runs.
Think about the elite leadoff hitters in the game of baseball today, and I think there's a lot of different ways of breaking that down, but I think it's fair to say that this is even a generational opinion that leadoff hitters, typically like to see him scoring about 100 runs, right? He has never done it in his career, which I think is a bit shocking to most, especially with his speed. Got a very, very good chance of doing that this year.
Solis misses away. Counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. Marlins Live post game coming up. We'll update you on everything in Major League Baseball. Probably get you maybe some highlights and an update on the Tigers and the Rockies. No swing.
15 of those 91 runs scored. He waltzed home on Stanton home runs.
Well, that's a good way to score then. Down he goes. Ball game over. The Nationals come out with a roar and take game 1.